Welcome to another crazy blitz game. And brother, I am not joking when I say this is crazy. So this guy rolls out F4. Don't see that very often. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. I'll go with you. So he goes for the double bishop pawns center approach. Like, this does not inconvenience me at all. Which should, is bad news really for him. I get to do whatever I want defensively and then, just react to whatever he's doing. So now it's some kind of, bizarre, almost stonewall. But, pretty solid. However, D4 is kind of questionable when you already have the setup of F5, Knight F6, and Bishop B7 to thwart E4 pretty much for life. I'll just put this little knight in this nest. Ooh, H4. Now there's a move that's really threatening like nothing. This is one of the key things. G3 is not worth putting your knight there because you can't hold it in that position, and B, you really don't want to trade off that knight for some bishop on the back rank because he would just move his rook out of the way. So you have this knight on this unassailable E4 right now. Only the knight and this bishop can get to it. This knight can get to it as well. But this is a tremendous knight. We're going to leave it where it is. In fact, we're going to bring his brother. Rook H3. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not like he can ever play Rook G3 even if the knight is gone, because bishop would just chop H4. So, hey, like I said, this knight on E4 is so good, I'm going to bring his twin brother right there. I don't know, man. That's a curiosity. Rook H3 to play G3. I mean, couldn't you just play Rook G1? And if Knight G3, King F2, forces it out. I don't know. It's a very bizarre and artificial construct because it doesn't really do anything. So now Knight G4, I thought was pretty interesting. So we get some action over here. He didn't like my knight lording over his position. I got a bishop that'll do the same thing, but differently. So, I mean, this is one of the most obvious cheap shot alignments to my G7 that you'll see. But, in a game in 3 minutes, heck, anything is possible. But at any time, Bishop F6 is just like, this Queen C3 is just kind of a ridiculous move. It's really not going to do anything. I can play D5 at any point or Bishop to F6. Both will permanently stop his goofy attack. But, well, on the white side, it's not losing, and it's a sword of Damocles to a degree. And if you're stupid, he gets a free victory. I mean, it's not like it's a bad move because he didn't have anything really great anyway. So it's, funny and curious and all that, but like, okay, now what, big man? So this is one of those jumbled pawns formations. And those are, that's a mixed bag. It's like, if you're comfortable with this kind of a position, that's fine. I really don't know. I have not looked at the computer to see what the heck is what. who the computer thinks is winning. I like black's pieces better than white's. White has more objective space, but his pieces can't go anywhere. I don't know. Because, I mean, look at this one. Look at this. This one bishop is holding back a queen and a bishop. That's a good deal for black. Got two killer posted pieces. I need to go back and run this through the machine and see what it says. I have no idea. But my gut reaction, spidey senses are saying that black is doing great. That was a move I did not anticipate. Fortunately, it's not a big deal, but he's going to take my bishop or take my pawn. Now, that's not that bad because I can always defend this pawn with d5. So, hey, you gotta let him have the bishop. I mean, I was not gonna take bishop takes knight because this guy stops these. Okay, so that would have been a horrible mistake. Bishop takes knight, terrible mistake. He'd play h takes, opens the file for his rook, who's doing nothing. This is doing nothing. This is doing nothing. This bishop essentially is holding back now 3 pieces because we don't take this. That's the reason why you don't take it. So he's going to take that. That's fine. Whatever. He can't play d5 himself because of the super bishop. In defense, the black bishop is a super piece. So now this pawn is holding back these 2 pieces. This bishop can move somewhere else. No problem. So I can't imagine that the machine program is going to say that white is advantageous here. I just don't like his positioning of his pieces at all. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say if, you know, this whole pawn configuration is good. Everything he's got just about is on black squares. So, you know, it's just very unique, I guess. This isn't going to amount to a hill of beans. He pushes h5. It doesn't threaten anything. So, our only weakness is c7. I got to work on this. The advantage here, hit the white pawn for future reference, as my dad would say. You know, I didn't do it. I'm thinking, I just, you know, I should have probably played knight takes pawn. I didn't, because I don't think he has anything. So I would think the computer would take the pawn, knight takes h6, and dare him to trade, you know, rook takes knight, because it's not going to amount to a hill of beans. Too easy to defend with rook f7, etc. So my gut reaction, and I played it really fast, actually. How long was that? No, 10 seconds. Gee, I thought I played it faster than that. Smart move a4 to defend his b pawn. He does have a 28-second advantage. So I started making some faster moves. One of the few things he's got is bishop to a3, so I just got to sidestep the obvious stuff. Hey, how's that white square bishop working for you? Let me just tell you right now, this right here is the tallest pawn in the game. So, he made a mistake and didn't play bishop a3. He played, I think this is the complete mistake, queen to b3. He should have played bishop to a3 to prevent me from going to e7, or at least make me think about it. So if he goes bishop a3, can I play bishop e7? He could take this. I could take his bishop. Yeah, I can still play bishop a3. So it doesn't really matter, I guess. But when he did that, it was obvious that I was going to go there. He needed to play bishop a3 immediately after queen b3. Rook c6 is not a good move because of this. You know, the whole point for me now is I got that bishop off of the defense, and now it's doing something. I mean, he could play still bishop to c3, but you know, I'm going to play rook c6 anyway. In the end game, the thing is here. All right, this was the idea. I didn't mention this. When I played g6, what would happen if we go to an end game? The black king is going to eat this pawn with the help of this knight, and there's not a thing he can do about it. Eventually, the situation would get to a point in the end game, king f6. We can just play here, whatever, to exchange this off, and then play king g6, knight takes. We're going to win this pawn. This pawn is a dead pawn. So I'm just giving you this heads up. So if he wants to go to an end game, he's going to be in trouble. All right. I still think bishop c3 is dead. He's got a tall pawn and a tall pawn. Now he's just, you know, not really recognizing that at this moment. Man, I'm going to work on removing the invader. Sweetness. I'm like, okay, I don't quite get what you're doing, but that's your business. King g1. I guess he's going to play e3 and then bishop to f1. See, now I'm thinking that queen d6, that keeps that bishop off of a3. And at this point, he could not play bishop c3, bishop takes, queen takes, queen takes, a takes b4. That pawn's going to queen. Is that going on the queen? A takes b4. He play. Yeah, he can't move. That knight is just constricting the heck out of his position. So he can't go to an end game with a takes b4 at this point because his rook can never get there. This tall pawn is also out of whack. Now another thing that I could have done but did not do was knight e3, because the knight e3 doesn't really do anything. You know, it looks attractive. You get to attack his queen. What does that do? Now, objectively, bishop to e1 might have been of use, but I don't see any real long-term effect. So I just continued with another idea. The potential idea of rook h5 and winning that pawn is just something that can consider to see what he's up to. So now he gets off that. He thinks that this knight e3 was a good move, which is not. Even if the computer says it's a good move, it's not a good move. I mean, technically, knight e3, knight c4, but it just doesn't go anywhere. I don't like it. Don't have time. I don't have 20 minutes to figure this out, but there's some kind of nasty sequence. Yeah, I got 1 minute. He's got a minute and 25 seconds. He's got a 25-second advantage over me still, which is pretty huge. So I can't be goofing around with this kind of noodly garbage. We got to be hardcore. I'm going to go put my king on the queen side over here in c8 and b7 to hold this pawn chain. I couldn't believe he traded. I'm like, you're screwed, dude. Sayonara, Charlie. So now, knight leaves g4. That's no problem. I'm gonna get that c pawn. That was another interesting move. He plays f5 with the dreams of playing rook to f4. So this may actually be one of the strongest moves that black plays in this game, is to not take the pawn. And that one was Yes, fairly quick, 2 seconds. Don't take the pawn. Look at this. Knight guards h5, knight guards g4, pawn guards f4 and h4. He's got to move. This rook is walled off. Okay, this is the key that White is now realizing that his rook is just walled off of the queen side. There's literally, he's got his two giant pawns are doing nothing. Look at this pawn on on a1. He can go to b2 and c1. Whoop-de-doo. His position is strategically getting destroyed, even though it's dead even material. So when I played this, I thought, man, I played a really good game. Now I'm going to go eat the c6 pawn, and there's nothing he can do about it. He got his rook. He got his rook moving. Hooray! You know what? Could I have done g4? I could have. That didn't occur to me. g4. Wow. That would have been a heck of a move, actually. Oh, moron. Yes, the computer is going to say g4, and he can go whatever. Rook to h4, and then bishop to e1, snagging this pawn. Well, he's going to play king to here, I guess. But his rook's completely entombed. g4 is the crushing move. Rook h4 is the best move. Rook h2 loses. So rook h4, bishop e1, king h2. Would you like to move your rook, sir? Okay, my mistake, dude. I mean, my king is going to get c6, which is good. He's dusted if I play g4. Let me show it to you. This is squash city right here. That's all he has. Oh my God, this was a magnificent sequence that I missed. It was game in 3 minutes. Okay, it's not a big deal. But look at this unbelievable position. He's getting squashed. He's got a tall pawn, a walled-in rook, another tall pawn. Ugh. And this is the thing you kind of dream about strategically. G4 was the crusher. But I'm still winning. You can't complain. If your move is still winning, it's not as bad, but man, I had him. So this is all going to plan. Watch his. So just look what happened to his time advantage. It is completely bled. Black is operating with a clear plan. White is not. He's juggling these garbage pieces in garbage positions. We got to give him a credit though. That maneuver to get his rook out was outstanding. I missed it. I'm still winning, but I did miss it. So he's made a game out of it. He was dead. Oh well, whatever. And I still got knight g4, at this point. But I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about cashing. This guy made another tremendous move. But I followed it up with a tremendous move. But see, at this point, his lack of a plan and his just horribly placed pieces. Look at this pawn on a1. This is killing him, and I'm just taking his pawns like grapes on the vine. Hooray, the bishop finally moved to someplace good. I don't know, what move number is this? This is move 42, bishop c3. Goodbye, I can't not take it. So he played this move. Oh man, I thought, oh my, I'm screwed. I am screwed. I can't take that F pawn because I'm going to get reamed by this rook. Okay, and then it hit me. This was my dad's famous rule. What is he trying to do? Rook to c6, check. So, c5, exclamation. You're dusted. So now I've just, gotten through his only threat. 3 pawns to the good, and I'm going to get a fourth one. Look at this. I'm like, okay, you see that? Yeah, exactly. Rook to b7. You don't have anything, Charlie. Now, he did somehow manage to, eventually mobilize both of those tall pawns. But his game was strategically, what do you call it? Countered, I guess. But it was not a gimme, okay? That's the thing. It looks a lot easier than it is, but it wasn't a gimme. The moves he played were good moves, a lot of them. And they had some subtle traps and what have you. But I'm good at those kind of positions. And that's the thing that you never know. What is your opponent good at? Well, one of the things I'm good at is that kind of position, as you saw. So what did he do here? That move doesn't really do much. I don't even care about that. Those kingside pawns mean nothing to me. I'm going to win with this 3 versus 1 right in the center. My king is right there. As I said before, here comes Big Charlie. Big Charlie is sitting on d6. This is another one of my dad's rules from the 70s. You have a light squared bishop, I'm going to move the king on the dark squares, baby. So, as hideously ugly as c4 looks visually, this is one of my dad's super lessons. We would play those crazy matches, but thousands of games. God, we played several thousand games in the 70s. Think about that for a second. And I'm not exaggerating. My dad bought a chess set one time. It was about 1975 or 76 from a place at Baybrook Mall. And it was a set where the white pieces were nickel plated, super shiny. And the black pieces were brass, super shiny. My dad loved chess sets that were nice looking. Staunton set, absolutely fantastic. Do not know what happened to that set. Came in a wooden box, with the flap down top and the little brass catch. My dad was like, "Oh man, we had a board for that too." I'm trying to think. I still have that board. It was an inlaid wood board. My dad said, "Okay, we're gonna play a match." I said, "Okay." I'm 13 or 14 years old. It's like, we're going to play a match to 500. That's not 500 games. That's to 500 victories. That's what kind of freaks we were. Okay? Because at that time, when I was, 13, 14, I was dead even with my dad. So it was, 50-50. It was a classic matchup. It's like Superman racing against the Flash. That's what it was back in 1975, 76. So, super fantastic, which was 8th grade for me. So that's why I played c4. c4 comes from my dad's lesson. He's got a light square bishop. Let's move that king in the black squares. You can't, no cheap shot tactics. So, you're threatening my knight. What do you want, a medal? That looks as good as it. Like I said, I don't care about these pawns. These are distractions for his king. I'm going to kill him and win this with my 4 versus 2 and my 3 versus 1 in the center. This guy's in for the biggest surprise of his life. Hey, buddy. Here I'm coming. Knight e5. Guess where that knight's going? Correctus. Knight on d3. Unstoppable. Hey, I got a pawn on h7. Would you like it? It's yours. You can have it. King c5. So he's doing whatever he's doing. So how would you proceed is the question. So we need to be, pushing the pawns, what have you. My philosophy at this point, see, he's now down, he's 11.5 seconds, and I'm 22 seconds. Because my plan was set in stone, and it was very logical and easy to follow. He was just defending to the best of his ability. I hammered him. This is an end game where the advanced pawns are just killing him. Worst case scenario, I play king c5, d4. He'll never do anything. Too many passed pawns, baby. You're not doing jack. Ooh, what do you want, a medal? It's too late, sonny. The rook is a very poor defender against multiple passed pawns, especially if they're connected. The bishop is tremendous because the bishop can form a barricade on one color that can stop the pawns. So he's screwed. And he's playing the moves that he has to play. I mean, there's nothing you could do. But now he should have played rook d4 check. He didn't see. I mean, I see he's going to go behind. I'm going to play knight c5, and he's screwed. He should have played rook d4 check, but I'm going to play king b3. So, I mean, he's screwed one way or the other. I don't know that this is I'm not saying this is a bad move. Rook d4 check seems like the only chance because I might get stupid and go backwards. If I go backwards like king c5 or king b5, well, king c5, he might have, I don't know. It doesn't look good. He's got 3 seconds. There's nothing he could do. Want to make a queen, baby. Now, objectively speaking, he could play king d6. Okay, so, yeah, whatever. He just loses. You're dead. It's just that simple. He's dead, Jim. I mean, there's nothing you can really do here. I'm going to queen. Every time I move, I threaten to queen. I threaten to queen. He stops it. I mean, I just go here. The problem he's got, actually, that's not the worst place to go. Here. He goes here. I go there. I'm not threatening a queen there, so that's all right. Gotta figure this out. I thought this was good. Okay, he goes to there, right? No, that's correct. Take the pawn. Defend the pawn. He goes to check. Yes. Objectively, he can play here. I'll go here. This is the problem he's got. This is his problem. He can't stop both of these pawns. Check. Well, let's see. Can he stop it? I don't think he can. Let's go here. He goes there. We go here. He's got to go there. Yeah, that's the problem. No, not there. He's got to check me. Yeah, he's going to lose. Got to stop this pawn, and you lose. He is dead lost, but he had figuring this out at that time limit is good luck, Charlie. My gut reaction was that this is a winning endgame, even, you know, playing knight to c5. Although, to be honest, knight c5 is terrible. That's game over right here. Knight c5 check, but it was 2 seconds. He had second and a half. He had no chance. It's still winning. Knight c5 check is still winning, but this is just squash city. Okay. So, in a game in 3 minutes, this was very good. I want to go back to the killer move. That is the move. That is the move. Now I'm going to make a photo of this. So, what a tremendous game this was. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There was a ton of good lessons in this game. Please like the video. Comment. Tell me what you thought of it. Subscribe to get more. Tell your friends, man, but don't tell your enemies because they'll use my lessons against you. You guys know what to do. I will talk to you later.